Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our Ezidebit and VETtrak webinar today. My name is Nick Bishop from VETtrak. I'm the Partner and Client Experience Manager. Thank you all. This is the introduction to integrated payments via VETtrak. Let's go to the next slide. Hopefully that's updated and everybody can see Nathan. And I believe Shayna's there. Shayna, can you online?
Hi there, it's Nathan here.
Oh,
I've
it's
got
Nathan.
Shayna sitting with me, and I'm just wearing a headset, so, I can hear, but Shayna can't. So
all right, sorry, I only see the one name. Thank you very much. So Nathan is part of the Ezidebit team, and Ezidebit is one of the VETtrak partners. So Nathan will give you a little bit of an overview on Ezidebit and what it does and how that sort of things work, and then I'll jump into VETtrak and take you through configuring the integration and how you can set up the payment plans in VETtrak using Ezidebit. So, Nathan, over to you for a bit.
Oh, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Nathan. I've been with Ezidebit for a little over 10 years. I've been helping a number of RTOs and education facilities across the country with their cash flow, primarily focusing on admin time saving and taking payments via payers accounts. To streamline the admin process and get the business's cash flow in on time. So I will just flick over to the next slide if I can. Great. So basically, what are the benefits to using Ezidebit at your RTO? So what I've got some points of main benefits of using Ezidebit on the screen in front of you. So one of the major benefits is improving collection rates. So what we've studied across all of the education facilities across the country was where for all of the services that we do automated payments for, we're seeing a 96% success rate across the industry. So what that means essentially is by taking payments from payers' bank accounts or credit cards will help the business to take these payments on time. We've got the ability to actually take these payments around the payer's pay cycle, and so the business will really retain control of when you're getting paid. So by signing a student up to an automated payment plan via Ezidebit, will just allow the business to retain control of when you get paid. Now, we have the ability to take payments from a payer's bank account, credit card. Now, with the fees associated with taking fees from bank accounts or credit cards, what we can do is we can actually completely absorb all of the fees associated with bank accounts or credit cards within the business. We can share these or completely pass them on to the payer. So the advantage to passing Ezidebit's fees on to the payer is that it's a cost-neutral service. So you're not actually incurring any fees to use Ezidebit within your business. By reducing missed payments, now we've got the flexibility to debit around the student's pay cycle. So for any students who might be living week to week, we've got the ability to debit, say, let's say they're paid on a Thursday, we can take the funds from the payer's account on a Friday. So I mentioned before that we've got a 96% success rate across the board for all of the RTOs we deal with. But if you allow the students the flexibility of any day debits, I really think we could certainly get that down to zero missed payments. Now, in terms of improving productivity within the business, one of the major advantages to using Ezidebit via VETtrak is that it's a seamless integration. So essentially what that means is whenever you're making changes to the attendances or increasing payments or any of that sort of thing within the VETtrak software, those changes are made automatically on Ezidebit's side as well. So what that means is that we're really cutting down on that manual data entry or the double handling, if you like, because with the seamless integration, when we pay funds into the business account, then all the payers' accounts will be receipted automatically. So it's a massive time saver for the business by utilizing a direct debit payment solution. Also, the Ezidebit, we've got a full financial services license. So just letting you know that we are secure and safe. So what that means is that we've got a level 1 PCI compliance, which is the highest accreditation you can have for a third-party payment provider. So you could be rest assured that your any card data that's stored within Ezidebit is completely safe, and you can rest in confidence there. Now we're just going to flick to the next page if we can, please, Nick. Thank you.
Sure.
So when we set up a direct debit account for your RTO, what we will do is we'll provide you with an online direct debit request form. So you can see on the right-hand side of the screen here that, that this is where we'll tailor this form. We can put on a business logo up the top of the form there to tailor this so it looks like it's part of the business. So what we're collecting is the payer's personal details, so their first name, their email addresses, mobile phone number, address, all of those sorts of details that we need from all of those personal details. On the direct debit form, there will be an outline of what the Ezidebit fees are. So if we're absorbing the fees as a business, then it will say paid by the business, or whether they're shared or passed on. So this will be outlined halfway down the page there. And of course, we're collecting the payer's bank account or credit card. So the advantage to using an online EDDR form or electronic direct debit request form is that when we don't have to print any paper direct debit form. So there's convenience there in terms of emailing the request through to your payer, and they can simply click to accept on their smartphone or their laptop. So it's a very easy, seamless process for the business to get those requests out to the student and get them back in a timely manner. So the main reason why we would need a payer's a direct debit form is obviously to get them to agree to the terms of the arrangement within the business, and so this will just cover the business, for your PCI compliance, and just ensure that you've got your you're within the legislation of collecting payer data and storing those details within Ezidebit as well. So and that's the reason why we'll certainly get those payers to sign up. So you'll get the payer will receive the direct debit request form, sign that, and then get that back to you, and then so that the payers are set up to an automated cycle within VETtrak, so that we can commence the debits from their bank account or credit card. Now we're just going to flick to the next screen here, if we can. So the way, essentially, for the visual people out there who want to get a better understanding of the reconciliation process. So the way that it works is what we do is we'll start off within VETtrak. So when you're arranging for the payer's accounts to be debited, so VETtrak will communicate to Ezidebit what is owed from the payer's bank account or credit card. Ezidebit will send a file through to the payer's bank, and then we will request the amounts that are owed on whether it's a weekly or fortnightly cycle. So we can do weekly, monthly, 4-weekly, and fortnightly cycles, and then so those amounts, as I said, will be requested from the payer's bank account or credit card from the bank, and then coming back to the after the little bank icon there, what Ezidebit does is we will send through reports via email through to the business email address, and then so that you've got a breakdown of who's paid what. If there's any dishonors, then those the reports will come back through to you. So it's just an even flow within VETtrak. So, and then once the payments have been received into the business account, then again, once we're back to VETtrak again, so that those payments will be received automatically. So it's just that for businesses who are currently processing manually at the moment, obviously it's a very time-consuming task to manually chase your payers and follow them up. So by utilizing Ezidebit, then we're really taking advantage of the time-saving measures with seamless integration, and also automated cash flow via Ezidebit as well. Keep in mind that we can debit around payers' pay cycles and just eliminate any delinquent or slow payers. So it'll just help to remove those awkward conversations you might currently have with your students by automating the process through Ezidebit. So that's basically the gist of how the process will work. And so I'd love to hear any questions that you might have. So please feel free to send those through, and I can answer those. We'll flick to the next page. I think we're at the end there. So what we might do is, Nick, if you don't mind, towards the end there, is we'll flick back to the second page with my contact details on there.
Of course.
Just so that the RTOs can see my contact details there. So I'd love to hear any feedback you might have or questions, and I'll certainly answer those for you.
All right. Meanwhile, now I'm going to stop the share for just a second while I get over to my VETtrak, and then I will take everybody through. And hopefully I will not have any trouble sharing the screen this time. Let's see what happens. All right, do we have a VETtrak screen? He said semi-confidently. Yep, fantastic. So how to configure this in VETtrak. This is the practical application. In VETtrak itself, once the Ezidebit integration has been turned on, payment plan integration, and that's as easy as calling up or emailing in through support and asking for this feature to be turned on for you, it gets configured in the back end of VETtrak by going to the configuration manager or manage configuration. You could push the little cogwheel up at the top if you prefer the icons. I still go through the old menus. Down the configuration list, you can come to your payment plan providers, and I've already have an Ezidebit set up, but I'll show you how to add a new one, which is as simple as right-clicking the payment plan providers node and adding a payment plan provider. And it will come up with this wizard to allow you to do the setup. Now, as I've already set up Ezidebit, what I'll do is just edit my existing one, because there's a lot of stuff to put in here initially, and just saves me a little bit of work. So in here, I have the name of the payment plan provider, Ezidebit, and you give it a code, Ezi. You can call it whatever you'd like, really, but I try to keep things simple. On the second page, you'll get your where you'd enter the Ezidebit API details and information on the EDDR URL and some private and public keys specific to your account. This information is provided by Ezidebit. Once this information has been added in here, there's a couple of buttons to test the connection, which will let you know that the test call to Ezidebit system was successful. And for the EDDR form, it will open a web page, and I'm hoping that the web page is appearing on the screen now, which will take you to that example EDDR form. This is a demo we have set up. Again, the logos can be customized in the top corner here. And I'll move that back out of the way. We'll return to that in a moment. Once that's been set up, the next page will allow you to, excuse me, sorry about that, set a default first payment date, if you wish, the installment frequency, which you can use the drop-down to select how often you'd like the installments to take place. So we do have weekly, fortnightly, monthly, every 4 weeks, quarterly, half-yearly, and yearly. You can attach the invoice to the EDDR email, and I'll show you the EDDR email when I send out my example in a moment. There's the option to download failed payments. So you can pull the payments back from Ezidebit into your VETtrak system against the invoices for your students. And it does give you the option to download the failed payments where there's not enough money in the account, or there's a failed payment that comes back in. You can select the location for your downloaded payments. In this instance, I've chosen our Melbourne location, and the default EDDR merge template for sending out the email to your students when they are going to sign up. The other thing we do is we map the product payment type to the VETtrak payment type. VETtrak payment types are configurable. Credit card, generally you'll match the credit card and bank account. We call it EFT in VETtrak, but you can name those whatever you'd like. That's really all there is to the configuration side of things. That's the configuration part. To sign a student up to the payment plan. Excuse me. You know that a student wants to take part and do a payment plan. First off, we're going to enroll a client in an occurrence. Now, this can be done through your, if you use VETenroll, your online enrollment system. VETenroll certainly has an option for Ezidebit, which is just notifying the administrator who's processing the web enrollments that this student is interested in the payment plan. And the administrator, when enrolling them, which I'm about to show you, can select the payment plan for the student to send out that EDDR form. So I'm going to use, where are we? Bugs Bunny, Rascally Rabbit. Going through the usual enrollment. Now I'm set up for Victoria. I've got fees put against some units. That's down here. Next, 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 and finish. So I've just enrolled Mr. Bugs Bunny into this occurrence. First thing we do need to do is to create the invoice. Sorry about that. So the invoice is here. I go next, next. I'm not going to print it at this time, and finish. So the invoice, you can see for Bugs, is down here. Let me make that swoop. That was wrong way, Nick. There we go. So the invoice for Bugs is right here with no payments. To set up your payment plan, once your invoice is created, it is as easy as right-clicking on the invoice and setting up a payment plan. Payment plan provider needs to be selected as Ezidebit. It has the invoice number pre-filled and who it's for, the payment plan and account status. We want to set the start date and how much per installment you wish to have the student pay. I'll go with $100 for the moment. Your installment frequency, this is set as the it's using the default from the configuration, but you can adjust these for students depending on what's been agreed to. But this will just select what's been set up as the default in the configuration manager, and the total number of payments. Your EDDR merge template, which you can create in the VETtrak merge template, can be selected from here. And then next. And when you're ready to send out that email to the student, box is ticked, it will automatically bring up your merge template email wizard. And here we're just using some fields. Hi, person's name. Thank you for enrolling. Please visit the following link to confirm your payment plan frequency, which is the payment plan EDDR URL that you set up in the configuration manager. The installment amount will be, and these are the different options you selected when setting up this payment plan for the student. The original invoice is, in this instance, attached to the bottom of this email. You don't have to, but it's nice for the student to see exactly what they're signing up for. And click next to send the emails. The email will go out. It has been sent successfully. I can close that. And in a moment, I'll have an email pop through right here, and I'll bring that across. Hopefully that'll show up on the screen if it's shared correctly. Hi, Bugs. Thank you for enrolling. Please visit the following link. And when we click on that link, come on, there we go. As we mentioned before, the direct debit request, this has all just been pre-filled based on that link. So first name, last name, the email address. And if this information was set up in VETtrak, it would pre-fill a lot of this along with the debit amount, the start date, frequency, the total amount, and where the student can enter their details, agree to the terms and conditions, and submit this to Ezidebit for processing. Once that's been done, you will want to get the payments back into VETtrak to start applying them against the invoice. To do this, under the utility menu, there's an area for payment plans and download payment plans from Ezidebit. You're looking at the from date and to date, and I've got some data in here now. These are going to come up as red because not all of these students are still in my system. I've used some old ones in here, which will give you your usual status in VETtrak. If there are errors, you can see exactly what the error is and go to rectify it. Once everything is green, you can click the save button, and this will bring the payments back into your VETtrak and apply those against the invoice, so you can see the payments that have come in as they're being made against that invoice for the student. You can also save this to an Excel file for further work if you have other systems you'd like to import that into. That's really the long and the short of the integration. As the student makes the payments, they can be pulled back into VETtrak, and when the payments go against the invoice, the status will change to partly paid and then fully paid once it's been completed. There you go. Are there any questions? We have an area here in excuse me, sorry, Q&A in the Zoom, so you can ask questions in the Q&A, or there is an option in the chat to ask some questions. We do have a couple in here, so we'll go through these in here. How is this different to using Ezidebit that you already have in use? What is the advantage of going through VETtrak?
Nick, I might jump in there if I can.
Far away.
Yeah. So Tracy, just to let you know, it sounds like you currently have it like a manual processing account through Ezidebit. So essentially, what that means is that you're manually receipting there. So I've just lost a little chat box. Here we go. So it currently is a manual process. So certainly, if you just would like to reach out to me, I'll bring up the screen in a moment with my contact details on there. If you'd like to just reach out to me, we can certainly provide you with an integrated account where you're taking advantage of the time-saving measures and not just the cash flow aspect, but really reducing your admin time as well. So so we can certainly help you there with the updating your account and taking advantage of those other major advantages to using our seamless integration.
Yeah. The nice thing about it is it also puts everything into VETtrak, so you can just look in a single place to find that information.
And so there was another question here about the EDDR form.
Mm-hmm.
So Leslie, what would need to happen there is basically the authority on the account would need to sign off on the electronic form. So if you wouldn't mind, just in a situation like that where the student is using someone else's card, then they would need to get the request would need to go through to the authority so they could sign off on that. Sorry, what would be the parent in this situation? On this one.
Okay.
I'm sorry. There is another question there. So.
Yep.
From Letitia, we already have an Ezidebit account and we are entering them manually. Can you add existing Ezidebit arrangements? Yes, you can. So similar situation. Feel free to reach out to me and I'll help you with getting your account integrated via Ezidebit and VETtrak.
All right. For those who have asked, this webinar is being recorded, and this video, including the Q&A, will be all saved and uploaded to the VETtrak Customer Center for your viewing enjoyment later on. Generally, it takes about 24 hours for the video to be processed, tidied up, and popped up online for you. But it will be available for your viewing at a later stage. How and when do we get notified when a direct debit has been confirmed with Ezidebit? What happens if the student does not complete the form and send it in? Nathan.
Apologies, Nick. So I'm just consulting my colleagues. So, yes. So with that question there, so I've just been asked a question around when do you get notified when the DD has been confirmed with Ezidebit? What happens if the student does not complete the form and send it in? So you will get an alert within VETtrak to notify you that that it's been accepted.
Mm-hmm. Letitia asks, when sending the email to the student, can we attach other documents as well as the invoice, Ezidebit checklist that makes them aware of the fees and charges? Yes, the EDDR form does have the default invoice attached to it, but before the email goes out, you can attach other files to that email the same way you would if you were sending other emails out through VETtrak. We have an anonymous attendee. What are the fees to the student if they miss a payment, and do we have any control over this? That's one for you, Mr. Nathan.
I'm sorry, what was the question? Was there one there?
No, there's an area for Q&A as well that has some questions.
Oh, Q&A,
here we go. Separate from chat. What are the fees to the student if they miss a payment, and do the RTOs have any control over this?
Great, Nick. Thank you.
Right.
So there will be a penalty to your payer if they fail to miss, if they miss a payment. So whether that's a declined credit card or insufficient funds from their bank account. So the family, or sorry, the student will incur a $14.80 penalty. So the business does have the option to actually absorb the fee if you choose, and that it comes at a cost of $2.75. But I find most RTOs that I've dealt with in the past, I'll usually pass on the fee just so that they're keeping their fees, the Ezidebit fees, low, and Ezidebit will penalise the payer for not for missing that payment. I would like to think that if we're offering the students any day debits based around their pay cycle, we shouldn't really see any dishonours anyway. So I think you can probably get that down at 100% success rate if we offer the students any day debits based around their pay cycle.
Yep. Letitia asked another follow-up question in the chat, asking if it only can be used on occurrence enrollments or any VETtrak enrollment. The payment plan can be applied to any invoice in VETtrak, be it a individual enrollment, a contract enrollment, or an occurrence enrollment. Anything that's being invoiced. RTO rules dictate we can only invoice a student a maximum of $1,500 at one time. So you could technically send out multiple invoices depending on how your RTO functions. The payment plan can be applied to separate invoices, and you can have separate payment plans for each invoice that you go to send out. The anonymous attendee, is this part of VET Enroll? Excuse me. VET Enroll itself only is capturing the enrollment information. There is an option on the payment page for VETenroll to select Ezidebit, which does not send them out the EDDR form. That has to be done in the VETtrak administration section, but it does flag the enrollment as it comes in through VETenroll that the student would like to be set up on a payment plan. So when the RTO administrator is processing that web enrollment and enrolling the student into their occurrence or individual enrollment, that they can then set up that payment plan and send it out to the student. Kevin, oh, hello, Kevin. We have 2 points for payments at our RTO. The first one is a point of enrollment with the pricing that's set up in VETtrak. For our RTO, this is deposit learner materials fee. Can we make a separate EDDR for the second point of payment, the tuition fee? I suppose my question, are both of these sent out as the same invoice, Kevin, or are we sending them as separate invoices? If they're set as separate invoices, you could separate the two, but it would, I'm assuming from the Ezidebit side, require that agreement for the payment plan. Don't manage tuition fee via VETtrak. Not sure on that one, to be honest with you. Nathan may have a magical way around that.
Sorry, I might just add to this, if you don't mind, Nick. Just in terms of the EDDR form, so basically it's an open-ended arrangement where once the payer is signed up to that electronic form, that's the authority to continually debit from the payer's account. Obviously, the notification that the payer the student would need it would need to come via VETtrak, but the one EDDR form should suffice.
Okay. If you'd like more information on that one, Kevin, probably best to contact Nathan directly. He may be able to go through that with you one-on-one. Katie, is there a space on the EDDR to provide the approval you mentioned if the student has provided details other than their own, i.e. parents?
And sorry, just before we go, I'm just going to add to that.
Yep.
Sorry if you don't mind. So we do have the ability to provide 2 EDDR forms. So one is obviously with the scheduled amounts coming from the payer's account, and the second one is a like an open-ended arrangement, which essentially is just you can it's an on-demand form that we like to call it. So you can change those amounts at providing you've issued the invoice to the payer. So there is those 2 forms that you've got the option to use.
Okay. With the approval for parents, how does that work? Is there space on the form to provide an approval process for parents?
With those forms, it's the payer. So whoever's paying it, whether it's also the card holder. So whether it's whoever the card holder is, that's who we need the authority from.
If the student does not make a payment and stops paying altogether after a course is delivered, this would be at loss risk for the RTO. I think that's largely going to come back to the business process. If they're paying it off over the duration of the course, the whole course wouldn't have been delivered before the payments have been received.
So one of the major advantages to using Ezidebit is currently the business is likely collecting payer card data. So whether that's storing the credit card details and leaving them on a piece of paper somewhere where they're easy to, where they can be accessed by someone who's unauthorized to see those details. So exposing those card data to and not storing it in a PCI compliant manner does open or can open the business for for a risk of chargebacks and that sort of thing. So by storing the card data within Ezidebit, obviously it's the safest way to store that card data. And
the anonymous attendee missed the information how much the fee per student is for that you pay to Ezidebit.
So with our fees, so we can it's basically it's custom essentially. So what we like to do is just get some information about the business, how many payers we're looking at and that sort of thing, because Ezidebit is a volume-based business. So if you've got let's say 100 students using Ezidebit, then chances are we can discount for volume. So it would really depend on the size of the opportunity you're putting through Ezidebit.
question in the chat. When a student signs up to Ezidebit, we usually get emailed the application form. Does this still get emailed through, or is there a way to save it to VT Docs? Once the form is emailed through to you, there's no way for Ezidebit with the current integration to take the form and automatically push it through to VT Docs. Once the form is sent through to the RTO, you could attach it through VT Docs, but this is not part of the integration. Are there any other questions? Okay, everybody. Well, I'll take it as the questions have been asked. This webinar will be uploaded to the Customer Center and will be available for viewing once it's up online. Thank you all very much for joining us. I hope you found it useful and been able to get a little bit of information on how VETtrak and Ezidebit can help manage some of the automatic payments and payments plans for your business and your students. If you have any question, Nathan's details from Ezidebit are just up here on the screen. If you'd like the payment plan add-on turned on for your VETtrak, please just email through to support@vetrak.com.au. And if there are any questions, feel free to call through on 1-800-VETtrak. You can ask to speak to me, Nick. I'm the partner and client experience manager, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have that I can, and take you through in more detail if you'd like more information. So once again, thank you everybody for coming along. Thank you, Nathan, and Shayna hiding in the back. And
thank you all. It's great to present, and thanks for the opportunity. And I look forward to taking any questions you may have about Ezidebit and via the VETtrak.
All right. Everybody have a great day and a good rest of the week, and we'll speak to you all again very soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.